This is Noah Nabuo, number 74 from the Yellow Jackets football team, and you're listening to Inside the Hive.
Welcome to Inside the Hive, where it's 24/7 Yellow Jacket athletics. With the Christmas break coming up, we make sure to check in with basketball along with a couple extra guests. My first one, however, is Coach Nori. Coach, how you doing?
Doing great, thank you.
Awesome. So, anyway, this weekend, split weekend, one game didn't go quite the way you wanted it to. What are some of the takeaways from that game as far as moving forward?
Yeah,
obviously,
well, going into the weekend, we knew we had two of the top teams in the conference going up. You know, with a lot of it, dealing with a lot of travel, a lot of different things that we were faced with. And you're right. I mean, I thought, Friday, I thought we went in there, and anytime you put yourself in a position to win, and against a team like Mesa, I mean, they don't lose a lot at home, and I think we beat them once, in the time I've been here at home, and I mean, it's not an easy place, but I thought we put ourselves in a great position. I thought we really made plays when we had to, offensively, defensively. I thought that, we did so many good things, and they had players that stepped up and made plays and hit big shots, timely shots with 3 seconds on the shot clock, with a hand in their face, with getting big rebounds. We missed some big blockouts, and they just capitalized on those things. And looking at their team, I mean, they start 5 graduate seniors or redshirt seniors, and they bring another senior off the bench, and that's who they play a lot of, and they get a lot of minutes, and experience is so valuable, especially in this RMAC. And I felt like Friday was a game that we definitely got better from. We learned a lot from. But I think that Saturday's game is a great example of the experience in this league, knowing how the challenges are. And we spent from Thursday to Sunday, we spent over 30 hours in a bus, and it's we leave Mesa, we get in about 1 o'clock in the morning. We don't get a shoot around time because of the time available was early in the morning. And it's something that we have to face, and talking about it is one thing, but experiencing that is a completely different thing, because Westminster too, that's a team that returned almost everyone. There's one piece that they did not have that they filled that gap with nicely, but they play 5 graduate seniors as well, and they have 3 all-conference players on their team, and it's a team that is seasoned, been to the national tournament, and in fact, last year we played them. We had them down 30 at their place with last year's team, and just playing one of our best games of the year. And one of their best players, Sarah McGinley, told me, after the game, that a big reason she came back is she didn't want to end her career with that loss on her plate, because we ended up beating them by like 18 or something like that. But so they remember that stuff, and that's experience, and that is invaluable. Just having that. So I'm sure they had it marked on their calendar. We could not throw it in the stinking ocean, coupled with the fact that we weren't guarding well. We didn't have a great game. Going into it, it felt like fatigue kind of owned us a little bit. What do they say? Fatigue makes cowards of us all. And I just felt like, there was a lot of things going against us. We had to, really bring it and have an understanding of what we're facing. And, just nothing went right. I mean, it just was a tough game on Saturday against a very good team. And, so once again, I'm just thankful that we're back here, at the DYC and available to have, time outside the bus, and just being able to recoup our bodies. And we had some sickness too that we're dealing with. And so it's a blessing to be back here For sure.
Good. Yeah, well, we're happy you're back. I mean, we want to watch some basketball here at home. Going back to a couple of things that you said, it seems like travel always comes up in our conversations, and it is tough. I don't think that people realize it. People will complain about a 10-hour trip or a 6-hour trip that they have to take, and you're taking 13, 14-hour trips.
Yeah, and it's something that we actually take pride in, in dealing with adversity and understanding that, it's part of what we do. But, when you deal with every trip we've been on, it has been an absolute, we were stuck in Minot for another day because of the snow and ice. And then we had a 24-hour delay in the airport on our way to Hawaii, where we slept in the airport. And then we had this last week, we had another delay of because of weather. And, we even got to Evanston. I've never seen so many semis in my life pulling up there. Like, there were just piles. And some of those semis had been there for 3 days. And, there's a lot to deal with. And it's finals week. And, one thing I want everyone to kind of understand is that these gals, I mean, they're carrying over a 3.5 GPA, and they're dealing not only with the travel and lack of sleep and everything else. I mean, it's would we like to have them, there's only certain windows that we can practice because of other teams, and there's only certain things that we can do. And I know it's frustrating for professors, and I know it's frustrating but like, these kids are taking their finals early before everyone else. We're getting on the bus, we're traveling, kind of not so great roads maybe, dealing with like the bouncy of the, and just getting stuff done. Then I'm really proud of them for that. I mean, these gals, these young ladies are doing so well in the classroom, and that's kind of that's their priority. That's what they have to get done. It's it's their faith, it's their family. It's just, they're here to get an education, and so it is finals week too, and that's a strain. And then couple that with playing a couple of the top 2 teams in the conference, and everyone looks at us like, hey, what happened? Well, it's a tough league, and people that say that don't really understand what these kids go through, and it's a lot, but you know what, we have such a good family of young ladies that have been through this program, that are in this program and have graduated through this program, that they're a bunch of winners, and we'll figure stuff out. They say winners win. Well, we'll keep plugging away, and so it's grueling, and we do the best we can to make it happen. But I do think, though, as from a basketball standpoint, just having that experience and understanding of some of these road trips out, that's one of the toughest ones that we'll take.
Yeah, well, it's good to have the tough one out of the way. But go back on a couple of things you said. You were talking about the student athletes carrying over a 3.5 GPA. A lot of people forget these are student athletes, students foremost, and athletes.
Right.
And so carrying over that 3.5 GPA, that's huge to have for a team.
And it's over that. We've been over a 3.5 for the last 5 years. We've won the Breckler Award twice, which is a huge accomplishment, which is the top team GPA in the conference. I mean, we've won the top GPA for the university a few times. I mean, and that's a lot, because we have a big team. We have a large team, and this last year was the first time in a few years we've been under a 3.6, and so it's a lot more than a game, for sure.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's carryover with high in performance on the classroom, and then performance on the court. I do think that there's a lot of carryover from those results. So a lot of stuff going on, though, for sure, for these young women.
Absolutely. Going back to what you were talking about with Mesa, and then also into Westminster. So you had some things to learn from with Mesa, but going to Westminster, you were saying how people might ask, well, what happened there? What happened there? Well, some things are just out of your control. I mean, you were talking about they're playing 5 senior graduates, and it's tough to go against that, especially when they have that time against you. And also the grudge that you were talking about against Black Hills State of losing to them by 18.
Right.
So going into that, it's not making excuses. It's putting into perspective what some teams have to deal with when they go to visit another school. So it's, that's one thing I want to make clear is that it's not excuses. It's literally just coming in and being like, this is going to be a tough game. And not going into a game saying, oh, well, this one we might lose, or, oh, this one might be tough. This one is going to be tough, but we're going to give it our all.
Yeah. Well, and, on top of all those things, we last year that, the team we did have, we got on a hot streak, ended up winning the conference tournament. And we're a team that teams don't necessarily like to play sometimes, but we also have a mark on our back. And, we've been to the national tournament 3 times, and we're some of these teams in the, and that's just in the last 5 years. And some of these teams in the RMAC have never been to a national tournament. And, for us to be in just a short stint of whatever, 8 years or how many years we've been in the RMAC, for us to, we made postseason every year but one. And, it's something that these kids, they feel the pressure of that too. They understand that there's a high standard, and a lot of times you could kind of shoot yourself in the foot because you do put so much pressure on yourself, and then it gets overwhelming. And our league this year is a very seasoned league. It's a league that a lot of returners, a lot of returning graduate kids, a lot of transfers coming in. And so for us, like you mentioned, the grudge from last year, a lot of our kids have no idea what that entailed, and so it is there's a lot of things that go into that, and mindset though is such a huge piece, and so we're working on that. I love this team. I love the gals in this team. But we're definitely work in progress, and we're just going to continue to just kind of grow. And there's a lot of growth in failures, more so probably if it's taken the right way.
Mm-hmm. If you learn from it,
recognize, admit, learn, and forget. And it's sometimes words are noise, and now it's a time of us recognizing and understanding some of the things like the missed blockouts, which we need to get better at. Our post defense, we need to get a lot better at. Just making sure that when teams guard a certain way, that there's other things that we can do and not get stagnant. We're
adjust to what's going on instead of just sticking with the plan, hoping that it works.
We're so much better offensively when we move the ball, and we sometimes we have a tendency to get sticky fingers, and some of our young kids we need them to kind of not feel like we need to get them to understand their roles a little bit more from a standpoint of like not being scared to make mistakes, and I don't want to kind of project that from what I say or do either. So it's there's a lot of certain pieces that go into making a team, and there's always something that you're dealing with, and so that's good. I mean, if it didn't matter to you, then you wouldn't care. But these kids truly care, and so do we. So that's some of the things that we're going through. So.
Gotcha. So carrying what you just talked about into this weekend, of course, Saturday we play New Mexico Highlands. Sunday we play Uccs, both doubleheaders starting at 2 p.m. What are you concentrating on from this weekend? You were talking about the blockouts. You were talking about instilling, a mentality in the ladies that, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Try something. If something else is not working, be ready to try something else.
Yeah.
What are your goals?
Well, just understanding, number one, that we are a good team, and, but we have to do the things that that we're kind of stressing, learning, being coachable that way, and not holding on to mistakes or compounding mistakes, but just taking them But that would be the first thing, is getting our mind right that way. The other thing is just continue to work on our skill. We need to make sure that we're visiting with some of these gals and just getting their minds right, going into the game, making sure, it's the last game before Christmas. It's, basketball is probably the longest season of every, we go from September to March, and it's, we cover all the holidays and everything. So like just making sure that we can lock in, and just have fun. Let's go get it. We got 2 games. Let's have a goal of getting Friday, and then let's have a goal of getting Saturday, and let's get this stuff done and be awesome. And that's kind of our mindset right now.
Saturday, Sunday.
Oh gosh, see, there you go. I'm ready to go. Let's go right now. I know,
exactly.
Right?
Let's just get these things started.
I'm so used to. Yeah, I know.
Oh man, that's one thing that we're gonna make sure everyone knows is
it's Saturday,
Sunday, 2 p.m. both days, and
they're
gonna be great games though.
Yeah, they should be. Everyone's a good team, and we got to be ready to go. But it starts with us, number one.
Yeah. Yep. So what is your ugly sweater, or what is your Christmas attire?
I was going to say,
games?
I got my ugly face right now. I'm just got that going right now. But my other, what was your question? What do we got going?
Since it's our closest game to Christmas, what's your Christmas attire going to be? Of course, we know that I'm going to break out my ugly jacket, but
you have it down for all of us, I think.
Oh no, I need some help.
I haven't thought about that too much. Maybe I'll wear a Rudolph nose or something.
There you go. I'm sure that won't defeat any of your
I just want to make sure. Right. I just, game time, when it comes to game time, I'm pretty, maybe I should loosen up a little bit. But I just, I don't like the, distractions sort of be, things, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe after our game for Coach Thompson's game, I'll freaking put a
as long as you put on
reindeer outfit out or something
like that.
Yeah. So.
But yeah. And then last question: what are your Christmas plans? Do you have any big plans?
Nah,
for
just
Christmas?
spend time with my family. And just it's been a while. Just it's such a busy lifestyle this time of year, and I'm blessed to be doing it. But just kind of refill the cup with family and spend some time, maybe make bake some things and make some lefts of my dad used to make, my mom and dad. So maybe do some of that and who knows, start a new tradition and, do something crazy, as far as a family goes. So who knows, but I will be looking forward to that too.
Awesome, Coach.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, again, those games are on Saturday, Sunday this weekend against New Mexico Highlands and Uccs, both starting at 2 p.m. for women and 4 p.m. for men. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Your loved ones deserve the utmost comfort when visiting Spearfish. If you're looking for the perfect place to get the family together, the Spearfish Holiday Inn and Convention Center has the most updated and comfortable rooms in town. Make your reservations today at the Spearfish Holiday Inn and Convention Center.
And welcome back to Inside the Hive. I am here with 2 wonderful athletes from the women's basketball team. Can you guys introduce yourself, please?
Yes, I'm Ashley Davis from Belcourt, North Dakota, and I'm a 5th-year senior.
And I'm Raven Knoyer from Mission, South Dakota, and I'm a junior.
I would have said that, but I would not have remembered all of it. Anyway, so this last weekend, can you tell us in your own words kind of your thoughts on it? I know that Saturday didn't quite go the way you wanted it, but still there are some takeaways from a negative game like that. And as Coach and I were talking about earlier, there's things to learn from that. And it's one of those teams where they are that tough. It's nothing happened. It was just they are that tough.
Yeah, I agree. There are some big things that we can take away from this weekend. Our first game against Mesa, it was a really close game. I think it was really good. It showed a lot of fight from our girls. And when we played Westminster, I guess there's just a lot of things that we can learn from, and it was good for us. And we got right back to it today, and this weekend will be better.
Oh, absolutely. What do you think, Ashley?
Kind of going off that, it was another road trip, and we've been on the road a lot this season. And I think we just have to learn to put together games back-to-back on the road, including what we eat, traveling. We need to make sure we're fueling ourselves and getting the right amount of sleep. It's hard when you go from traveling all the way to Mesa and then getting on the bus after the game, traveling 4 hours, getting fed a little bit of food. I mean, not really what you want to eat. So it's like, oh, this looks good, but I don't really feel like eating it. So that's one thing we got to work with. And then getting into the hotel at like 2 a.m., 1 a.m., having to get up the next morning and kind of repeat that day again. It's a challenge, but it's something that we have to figure out how to deal with it and put together 2 games on the road.
Absolutely. So Coach was telling us that you've almost had a delay in almost every travel game that you've played so far. I mean, whether it's ranged, sleeping in the airport overnight, or else even in this last one, you had to delay 1 day because of a snowstorm. And how is that as an athlete?
It's definitely tough on our bodies. I mean, sleeping in an airport, how comfortable is that?
Yeah.
But yeah, it is tough on our bodies being on the bus all day, but it's just something that we got to work with. Like, there's nothing we can do about it,
right,
but respond right to it.
Right. You just got to kind of get up and do what you do. Luckily, you young people can do that.
Yeah.
Us old people, if we did that, it's not good for us.
Got to kind of roll with the punches.
Yeah, and I feel like for the most part, like, we've stayed positive through all of it. Like, it is hard. It does suck, but you don't really ever see us super down or like, oh my gosh, this sucks. We're just kind of like, all right, here we go. Let's get through this.
It's just another thing. Yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing that I keep telling Coach is just seeing you guys. It seems like you always have a positive attitude. I have yet to see one of you in a negative attitude, and I just love that about you guys. So moving into this weekend, we play New Mexico Highlands and UCCS. Is there anything that you guys are doing to prepare for that game that might be different from what you do before, or can you take us through kind of your pregame ritual as far as these two teams?
We're incorporating a lot more of competing into our practices this week, getting us ready for this weekend. It'll be fun to have some home games. We always pick up a lot of momentum playing at home, and yeah, we're back to the grind and we're ready for the weekend.
Yep. Ready for that Christmas break, hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah, with that, though, we got to finish out first before we kind of lock out for Christmas break. But I think this week of practice, it's definitely changed a little bit with, like Raven said, competing and kind of just finding, like, our fight. And, like, yes, we just came off of a 40-point loss-ish. So we were eager to get back and to make changes and to hopefully not let that happen again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we came back at it good this weekend.
Yeah, and it wasn't like you guys came back and just moped around. It was like, nope, we learned that we need to do something different, so we're going to do something different. Yeah, so that was great to see. So any big plans for Christmas?
I'm just going back home, going to enjoy the relaxation with my family, open up some presents, eat a lot of food.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I get to be on the road a lot. I go to my dad's, which is 8 hours first, and then Christmas Eve I'll travel 6 hours to my mom's. So a lot of traveling, but it's worth it, just being with both sides of the family.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. As they're going to see in the Christmas special I'm going to call this weekend, the crowd's going to enjoy a couple videos, but I wanted to ask these questions here. What is your favorite Christmas movie?
Go ahead, Rafe.
Okay, my favorite Christmas movie is The Grinch. I guess my favorite all-time movie, not even just Christmas, is The Grinch.
The Grinch. And this is like the Jim Carrey live-action Grinch Who Stole Christmas.
The new one's a disgrace. I don't ever watch that one.
Okay.
It's horrible.
Noted.
Yeah. Don't waste your time.
What's really funny is I think that was the second movie I've ever seen in a theater. Was The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. Yeah. And the little girl that plays Cindy Lou Who, she's actually a rock star now.
Oh.
Like, literal rock star. Like, tattoos and everything.
Wow.
I'll have to look her up.
Yep. Taylor Momsen. Singer for The Pretty Reckless. Big fan. Big fan. All right. Ashley, what's yours?
My favorite movie, I would say Home Alone.
Home Alone. Why Home Alone? Just out of curiosity.
Honestly, that was the first movie that came to mind. Okay, The Grinch came to mind first. And then Raven said, no, I'm taking that one. I said, oh, what's that movie where that little boy is home alone? What's that called? It's Home Alone.
Yeah, Home Alone. No, that's great. It's that movie in itself is just stupid funny.
It
Just
is really
because
funny.
the things that those guys go through trying to steal from this house. And at a point, you're like, okay, they're not trying to steal anymore. They're just trying to get back at this kid. But
Yeah.
I just think some of the things they thought of, because even as an adult, like the people who were writing the movie, I was just like, okay, what was going through their minds to figure that out? Like the paint can scene.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Gotta
who
give
thinks
the
of that?
little boy some credit, though. He's
Yeah.
pretty intelligent
Oh,
to
yeah.
come up with the things
Yeah,
he comes up with.
He pulled that off pretty well, and not only once but twice.
Yeah.
I mean, good for him. Good for that kid. And then let's see, which question do I want to go with here? Let's say if you could be any character from a Christmas movie, what would that character be?
Well, I think I'd want to be on one of the characters from the Polar Express. Just because, the hot chocolate, doesn't it look so good? Like, it looks the hot chocolate on the train.
Everything
It
in
looks
that,
so good. I just want to try the hot chocolate.
you just want to try the hot chocolate.
Yeah,
The-
basically.
Fake hot chocolate just does not sound that good to me.
It
But
looks so good.
the thing about that movie is everything looks too real. You know, it's supposed to be an animated movie, but it just looks too realistic.
It does look kind of scary.
Yeah, there's some parts I'm just like, yikes, that scares me a little bit. But anyway, okay, Polar Express. So, would you want to be the nerdy kid off of the Polar Express?
I can be the nerdy kid.
Okay, as long as you get to try the hot chocolate.
Yeah,
but-
whoever, yeah. Yes.
Gosh,
I could be the guy on top of the train.
There you go. Yeah,
the crazy guy.
Oh man, that crazy guy. That scene was nuts. Oh, but that nerdy kid just drove me up a wall when I saw that movie. Oh, I could not stand him because I knew about 2 or 3 of them growing up, and I was like, and I might have been one of them. But Ashley, what would be your character?
My character, honestly, I'm not a big movie person, first of all. Every time I watch a movie, I fall asleep. So this is kind of a hard question, but I had some options from Raven and Colton, and they gave me Buddy the Elf. And I was like, sure, I'll go with Buddy the Elf.
Okay,
She could be the Grinch.
What is the best way to spread Christmas cheer? And this is an elf quote. It's off the movie The Elf.
Oh. Yeah, this is not a question for me.
Oh, God.
I probably fell asleep during this part. It's on you, Rave.
I'm trying to, I've literally watched this movie so many times, too.
He's in the mall. He's talking to the lady. Sing loud for all to hear.
Oh, it even rhymed.
Yeah. Best way to spread Christmas cheer to sing loud for all to hear.
I'll have to remember that one.
I'll remember that from now on.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We wish you the best of luck this weekend. Again, your games are Saturday, Sunday this weekend instead of the usual Friday, I said that right. Saturday,
Yep.
Sunday instead of the usual Friday, Saturday. And game times are at 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. For men's and women's.
Heard through word of mouth that Joe and Karen were looking at retiring, and my wife and I looked into it and decided we wanted to do something different. I knew the business would work by visiting with Joe and Karen, looking at things, but I needed a bank. I went and visited with Pioneer Bank and set it up the way we wanted, and I mean, everything works. But they've been great. The rest is history. Here I am. Pioneer Bank and Trust is local.
All right, and welcome back to Inside the Hive. Right now I'm sitting with assistant men's basketball coach Kyle Lawson. Coach, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. How are you doing, Colton?
Doing good. So, coming off this week, you have 2 wins on your back pocket, correct?
Correct, yeah.
All right.
2 big ones on the road.
That is 2 very big ones on the road, and you guys are in the middle of a pretty tough part of your schedule. Can you tell us what you've been doing to start powering through this?
Definitely. Obviously, we're looking ahead to see, who we got and preparing scouting wise. We're trying to touch on that second game early on in the week and then kind of prepare like we normally do for that Friday game. But really just trying to keep the guys fresh. I mean, obviously it's finals week. It's a little bit easy to keep or to kind of look forward to winter break, but trying to keep them present, trying to keep them healthy and fresh. So not overdoing it on the court, but making sure they're getting all the things they're supposed to on the court and obviously getting extra shots. And Coach Kellen Anderson's doing a great job with them in the weight room and not overloading them during this last part of the semester.
Yeah, this part of the semester is a really tough part, and especially, coming off of this last trip. It was a long trip.
Yeah, it was really long. It took about just over 11 hours to get to Colorado Mesa, had a couple stops in between. And then after that game, and obviously both games went into overtime, the women's game and then our game, supposed to get in at 2 in the morning, ended up getting in at 3. And then we turned around and played the next night against Westminster. And then, we had to stay an extra night in Salt Lake City. And then that turned into a 13-hour bus ride, guys getting in late, about 10 p.m. on Monday, or Sunday, I should say, and then final starting or continuing on that following Monday. So it's been a heck of a couple of weeks for us.
Yes, it sounds like it. So can you tell us a little bit about this road trip as far as the games go, how they went for you guys?
Yeah, obviously that first game against Colorado Mesa, it was tough. I mean, Coach DeGeorge there over at Colorado Mesa and his staff, they do a really good job, and they just have so many like players. They're big, strong, tough, can defend. They don't shoot a bunch of threes, but they're pretty efficient from the three. I think we did a really good job defensively, kind of locking up their personnel, and they hit some good shots against us. But it kind of seemed like Joel had an off night, but he had 27 and 14, and then Adam Musa is just doing his thing, and especially off the ball, he came up with 7 steals, and then Sava Dukic got it going from 3 that game, which is nice to see, kind of struggling a little bit, and then Sindhu, we just kind of rely on him defensively, and we put him in spots to cut and finish at the basket, and I just think we're playing really good team basketball too. We finished that game with 16 assists, and we're really sharing the ball.
No, that's perfect, and it makes for some great offense and great basketball to watch, specifically. Moving on to Westminster, it seems like they just kind of hung on.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about before the interview, it just seemed like they were always there. There wasn't really a time where you just took off and just left them in the dust. It was a battle to the end.
100%. They're traditionally just a really tough team, and that game obviously was tough, but they played without their best player, so they knew they had to scrap and fight for every little thing, more so than what they normally do, because they were without 18 points a game and Yusuf Muhammad. And like you said, they just kind of hung around. We'd get out to maybe an 8, 9, 10-point lead, but then they'd come back and hit a couple timely shots or come up with an offensive rebound, or just someone that is stepping up to the plate. I kind of forget who might have hit a couple shots, but I know Torbert hit a couple early on, and their point guard Kitzman is just a stud and kind of a winning kid. So they're always tough and well coached, and Coach Parrish over there at Westminster does a really good job too.
Perfect. It was a fun game to watch. And speaking of fun games to watch, we have a couple coming up this weekend with Uccs and New Mexico Highlands. Of course, I said that in reverse order. New Mexico Highlands starts on Saturday at 4 p.m. for you guys. Can you tell us a little bit about how you're preparing for that game? I haven't watched a ton on New Mexico Highlands. Our other assistant coach, Coach Krogman, has kind of taken the lead on their scouting report, but traditionally they play up-tempo, they're fast, they pressed. And they're just so different. That's what always makes those games kind of difficult, I think, for everyone around the league, but for us especially, because we're kind of an organized, system-oriented team, and sometimes when you play up tempo like that and they're pressing, you don't quite get to all those ball screens that we normally typically get to. And then they have a lot of talent. They're very athletic. They can shoot the ball, and they get up and down, and they're really athletic and kind of change the game defensively. Right. So how are they going to accommodate for some of the shooters on Black Hills State, do you think?
I think the way that they will get after it defensively is by using their athleticism, maybe putting a taller player on someone like a Sava Dukic who's getting hot from 3, and try to disrupt him and make him uncomfortable and try to get rid of the ball instead of being comfortable right as soon as he catches it. They're going to rotate. They're going to fly around. So that's what's going to make us a little, I wouldn't say frantic, but we may get shots that we're not normally used to getting, and we'll just kind of have to settle in with that pace and practice, with the time leading up to what we got on Saturday.
Gotcha. So moving on into UCCS, another very tough team for you guys. Is there going to be much difference between Saturday and Sunday as far as play style?
Yeah, definitely. They don't get up and press as much as New Mexico Highlands does, but they are very long. They're very athletic, and they play a lot of people. Like I was just typing up the scouting report, and they got about 12 people that they play, so it's kind of tough. They got their kind of top 5, but they got 7 other guys that seems like they can hurt you, and whether it's someone hitting a couple threes or someone getting some offensive rebounds, that's one thing that they do really well is they hit the offensive glass. And then they got a stud in Elijah Comithie, who's averaging just under 23 points, and then a stud of a kid from Colorado, Janiel Fugit, who was at West Texas and helped them with their kind of championship runs down there. So they're tough, they're athletic, they just do it in a different way and not pressing up and getting up and down the way New Mexico Highlands would.
Right, so it's going to be a bit of a shift. It's not going to be like a continuation from one game to the next.
Right.
That'll be fun to watch, and just different type of basketball.
Definitely.
I mean, it's when you could change it a little bit, and even if it's little nuances here and there, it's just fun to watch from a spectator standpoint.
Definitely.
Anyway.
And there's millions of ways to win a game, and there's no right way to do it because people win playing extremely slow, extremely fast, and a lot of teams do it in between too. So it's interesting contrast of styles.
Yeah, as my uncle would say, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Exactly. So. Yeah, I was going to say that.
Oh, man. So I asked Coach Norrie this, but what is your Christmas attire for this weekend?
Ooh, I don't know that Coach Thompson's going to want to go with the ugly sweaters. I think we'll probably stick with the quarter zips. There's a good chance we may pull out another polo this weekend, considering the games are at 2-4. But, you know, I may just have to keep myself on my toes because I never know. But I don't think the ugly sweaters will come out this weekend.
Even if it's ugly socks at this point, I'll count that as a win. I mean,
I'm usually wearing those.
Well, perfect, Coach. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to us, and we wish you the best of luck.
Awesome. I appreciate you. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. All right, stick around for more Inside the Hive right after this.
Your vehicle is the lifeline to work and play. Finding your next upgrade can be complicated and expensive. You shouldn't settle for a vehicle at a random sales lot. Choose a dealer who guides you to a better decision. For over 90 years, the people at Uccs and Spearfish have helped countless people like you make better vehicle decisions. Click on the link to see what's available, then schedule a test drive to see what's possible with Uccs Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram on West Jackson in Spearfish.
Welcome back to Inside the Hive. I am here with two men's basketball athletes. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Hey, I am Sindhu Cisse, guard from Harlem, New York, senior.
And I'm Riker Sisterik, forward from Highlands Ranch, Colorado, and I'm a sophomore.
Perfect. So you guys just came off of a pretty big weekend. Your schedule has been pretty tough these last few games. Can you give us a little insight from an athlete as to what that's been like so far?
It's been tough. Honestly, like, we just got stuck on the road in Utah on Sunday, and we drove from like 9 in the morning to 10 p.m. But I mean, we spent a lot of time together, so our team chemistry is pretty good. So I'd say it's going good.
Good.
It was definitely a really long road trip, so it's great that we came away with 2 wins after this super long drive and played 2 really tough teams and were able to pull off the wins in both games. And overtime, Sava Dukic hit a clutch 3 to send it to overtime against Colorado Mesa, and we just had the motivation to win the game after that.
Yeah. No, that was a fantastic game to watch. Sending it to overtime, how do you respond to that as a team? Does that change anything, or is it, well, we're just playing another portion of basketball?
I would say, especially like how it ended, like we got the last shot, we made the last bucket, so we kind of had all the momentum. So, like, you just got to capitalize off that and let it carry on. So I feel like once that happened, it's like it woke us all up, and we was like, all right, it's time to get going.
Yeah, time to take care of work.
Yeah.
What do you think?
We definitely had a lot of momentum going into overtime, and we got really hyped after the shot hit, and then they missed their final shot at the buzzer. So we got really hyped. But then our point guard, also sophomore, Adam Musa, he just was trying to tell us that we still got games to the game to play. And we still got to finish it out.
Yeah.
And so we just still had to just go out there and try and win the game. We did.
Yeah, so it's just shifting the focus more from, oh, we're going into overtime, or, oh, we just sunk that shot, to, no, we're playing more basketball.
Yeah.
Let's focus on that.
Exactly.
Perfect. So you're talking about that. So does that hype that you were talking about carry into Westminster the next day?
Definitely, yeah, because like the swagger, like the momentum still like carries on, because it's like that was a big win for us. So it's like we feel good after that, we feel confident, so it definitely carries on to the next game.
Perfect.
And it was a really big win because Colorado Mesa was picked #1 in the preseason rankings to like win the conference. So that was a huge win for us, and definitely carried it over into Westminster. However, like the 4.5-hour drive that it took after Colorado Mesa to drive to Salt Lake, that kind of wore on us. So we kind of came out slow, especially in our shoot around before the game. And it kind of showed the first couple minutes of the game, but we got it back into it.
Yeah, Coach was telling me that you guys got in at 3 a.m. or something like that in the morning?
Yeah, we did. We did get in super, super late, but, I mean, I feel like that's what comes with it. So
yeah,
you just that's
college
one of our
basketball
core values. You just got to stay prepared no matter what. So I feel like we did a good job.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, being able to come off of that and, beat a team like Westminster. And the one thing I noticed with that game is it seemed like they were always there. Like you didn't, have a 13, 14 point disparity. Yeah. It was you would get ahead a little bit, then they'd have a couple good shots and then get ahead. Coach touched on this a little bit, but does that mess with you at all as a student athlete when you're playing and you pull away a little bit, you go on a run, and then all of a sudden they answer? What do you do after that?
I mean, I feel like you always want to like smack a team, beat them by 20, but like when it really comes down to it, the capability of that team too. Like that they're undefeated. They're one of the top teams in the RMAC. So it's like we know it wasn't gonna just be easy. So it was like no matter what, we got to stay focused, stay posed, and just beat a calmer team. So be sharp.
What was the question again?
He was asking basically that if when we get a big lead and then they just come back, does it ever mess with our mental?
I mean, you just really want to stop their lead and stop their momentum. You just want to get a bucket or just one defensive stop just to stop the momentum. And so when they are going on their run, all we're trying to do is just get one stop or get a bucket to try and limit their run. And that's the game. Basketball is a game of runs, and to win games, you just got to limit those runs.
Yeah, you gotta be able to withstand their best shot. So it's if you could take their best shot and all their runs and still come out on top, then it just shows that you're a better team.
To quote one of my favorite shows, they don't ask how, they ask how many. Does that apply here?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely does. I'd say.
Yeah, definitely.
So as far as going into this upcoming weekend, you guys have another couple of difficult teams to beat. And with it being at home, does that kind of change the mentality as far as, okay, we had these good games, how do we carry that into this weekend? Does that change how that works, or is it basically the same as just a court, basketball, try to make as many points?
I mean, I feel like it's kind of the same, but when you're at home, you get an extra oomph. It's you're more amped to play because it's in front of your fans. You're at home, and it's the crowd's cheering for you. But usually, I like playing on the road because it's the crowd is cheering against me. So
just gives you a little bit more of a drive.
Gets me going. So
yeah,
I'll definitely say. I mean, playing at home is fun, but I like playing on the road better.
Gotcha. No, that's understandable.
Yeah, I definitely think. For these two upcoming games, it has to be the same mentality going into them because it's two teams that can compete for a conference championship again. And Coach Thompson told us at the end of practice today that New Mexico Highlands, they thought themselves that they were going to win their conference this year, and they've started 0-3 in conference, but they're going to come out and try and beat us.
Yeah.
And UCCS, Colorado Springs, they've had some tough games. And they've also won their share of games, and they're also right up there. So we just have to have the same mentality as going to we're the underdogs, and we got something to prove, and we have something to prove all season long.
Right. No, that's a great mentality to have. When you're going into a difficult game like this, obviously the mental role is big. Mm-hmm. How is it different as far as the mentality? When you're going into, say, a game that's not going to be as challenging? Are you looking at them all the same, a must-win game? Or are you looking at them hey, this one maybe not as much and I don't have to try as hard, or is it I'm going all to the wall for this game no matter who it's against?
I mean, I feel like that's how we should think every game. If you take a team lightly, then chances are they can potentially beat you. Especially Coach says any team could be 40 point better on any night. So it's we have to take every team seriously and treat them all the same. If I'm being honest with you.
I agree.
Man of many words.
Well, yeah, like Sindhu said, any team can beat any team in this conference, and it just depends on who plays better, like, and who plays harder on each night. And I forgot what I was gonna say.
And I'll just put the Jeopardy music right here.
But I mean, it comes down to execution at all times. It's like it's the team that can be better at executing that night.
Right.
So like, you could be having a bad night, and if you execute, you could still win just by being sharp and executing and stuff like that.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like, or it looks like you got what you thought back.
Yeah. So like, you really don't want to take a team lightly, but like you also have the mentality, and like Coach talks about all the time, that you can't take this team lightly. Like, this game's like the same as every other game. But I feel like a lot of the time what happens is there's just something like the back of your head that just tells like you that this team isn't as good. So chances like
kind of
you're
oftentimes like teams that are playing these lower ranked teams kind of come out worse or just play better. And now they're playing from behind when they really should be beating a team by 20, 30 points.
Right. They're playing to the team's level, but they're not actually playing to their level.
Yeah, right.
But I feel like that's what, if you're able to look past that and like play better, like play the same way you would play a different team, that kind of just separates you from all the other teams in the league. Like, if you can be the same team, whether against a top team or a lower ranked team, and still come out on top, then I feel like that's kind of what separates.
Absolutely. So would you say that the mentality behind playing a game is very important when it comes to being an athlete? Like, it's overcoming that little voice that you were talking about of just saying, okay, this is a must-win game, and just think about that for almost every game. It's a mentality part, I think, is very important for a student athlete. Would you guys agree with that?
Definitely. And especially basketball, too. I feel like basketball is more of like a confidence game. Like, you can have all the skill, you can have all the other stuff, but if you're not like really confident, then you kind of, it affects you, I'd say.
And when you have a team sport like this, it's important to have all parts of the team at the 100% mentality mode, because if you have one weak link, it's not going to be good for the rest of the team.
Yeah, and that's why everybody has to be bought in too. So it's like, if everybody's not bought in, then it kind of affects the team.
Absolutely. Well, switching gears on you here a little bit. So we just filmed a couple videos that people are going to enjoy during the game. What would you say is your favorite Christmas movie?
My favorite Christmas movie has to be Santa Claus 2 with Tim Allen. It's just a classic, and I've always watched as a kid, or like since I was a kid. And there's a whole series, Santa Claus 1, 2, and 3 with Jack Frost. And it's just one of my favorite Christmas movie like series. And also up there, I have to put Polar Express just because it's a classic.
My favorite Christmas movie is Home Alone 3, and it's just because.
So why do you say it's terrible?
It's just not the same as the first two Home Alones. Like, you can't. Nothing competes with the two robbers from the first two Home Alones. Nothing competes with the original Kevin McAllister.
But because it's a Christmas, Home Alone is better than every single other Christmas movie.
The other two Home Alones are Christmas Home Alones.
Oh.
And they're just
Dan, and Home Alone 1 is my favorite.
Yeah, there you go.
But, you know, is it Home Alone 2 that Donald Trump's in? All right, we won't get political here. But no, I agree. Home Alone, very good movie. You know, Polar Express, I was talking about this with women basketball athletes, and it's just, they try to make too real of a movie out of animation, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, it's just creepy almost in some way, you know?
I've tried to watch that movie, but every time I watch it, I fall asleep. I can't.
There's too much singing, man.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the singing. I
can't watch that movie.
Yeah.
I can't.
You don't like the singing when they're singing to the stars? That's one of the best parts.
Oh my gosh, no. And that's kind of the Grinch in me, and that's one of the characters that people would probably say I match up with the most. But I love Christmas, but I don't need to hear everyone sing.
Christmas music, Christmas songs, oh my goodness.
It's the best time of the year.
Horrible.
Like Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas, there's a limit this weekend.
Yeah, hopefully.
It's definitely overplayed, but so catchy and just
That song is good, but it's like
all I want for Christmas is you, bud.
all I want for Christmas is you.
I mean, a movie that the fans might dislike that I haven't seen is Elf, and that's typically everyone's.
You haven't seen Elf?
I haven't seen Elf.
Oh,
that's typically
man.
everyone's favorite Christmas, up there in the Christmas movies.
Oh, it's fantastic. We're actually gonna have some clips this weekend, so you're gonna have to.
I haven't seen.
Obviously, listen to Coach, but if you get a chance, just peek up and.
I mean, Will Ferrell's one of my favorite actors too, and I just haven't seen it.
Oh, I have seen that movie, Elf with Will Ferrell. Yeah, I've seen that movie. That movie is fire. That movie is
okay.
fire.
I'll ask you a question that I asked the female athletes. What is the best way to spread Christmas cheer? And this is a quote from Elf.
Well, I've never seen Elf, so how am I supposed to know this?
I got horrible memory, so I could not tell you. But I feel like, I mean, just giving and caring, I'd say.
Oh,
just like showing that you care about other people, like showing them love no matter what.
That is true, but the quote goes, the best way to spread Christmas cheer is to sing loud for all to hear. So I think that's where it comes, why you and I may not like the singing is it's just everywhere and all over the place.
So you want to sing since you love Christmas?
Hey,
yeah.
If there's a Christmas song that comes up during warm-ups this weekend, please let there be a Christmas song. I will sing that.
All right.
Loud and clear.
I will make sure to put a Christmas song on just for you.
Give us a sneak peek now.
Yeah, come on. What song would you, if I were to put on, what song would you sing along to?
I mean, Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas. Like, I know the words the most to that one.
So sing it.
I'm not singing right now. So I need the noise to block it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. I have a question for you.
Yes.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Ooh, that is a good question. I would say yes.
Why? Just because it takes place during Christmas?
Yes, because we could say the same thing about Home Alone. It takes place during Christmas, but does it technically match everything as far as the Grinch That Stole Christmas? Obviously a Christmas movie because it bases a lot of it on Christmas, but
the name,
Christmas is in the name. Yeah, exactly. But Home Alone, it happens around Christmas, but does that make it a Christmas movie? Well, if that's the case, then Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
That's a fair point.
That does make a lot of sense, actually.
I've never
so what's your favorite Christmas movie?
Oh, I'm gonna have to go with Grinch Stole Christmas, the live action with Jim Carrey, just because I'm a Jim Carrey guy.
Huge Jim Carrey guy.
Yeah,
he's mad funny.
Oh yeah, I love him. Let's see, and then the other one was if you could be a character, who would that be?
You would be the Grinch?
Oh, I'd be the Grinch. Well, people would tell me I'm the Grinch. I feel like I'd be Buddy the Elf, just because I feel like I'm goofy enough to be Buddy the Elf. But yeah, what about you two?
I would definitely say the Grinch, just because he's, I don't know, I didn't really like Christmas as a kid, and then towards, I think it's the newer cartoon, and then he started liking Christmas towards the end and stuff. But I don't really celebrate it, so I couldn't really relate. You feel me? But
you had a weird look on your face. What were you thinking over there?
Just how you like the cartoon one better than the live action.
But that's just the most recent one that I watched. It happened to be.
Well, no, actually, in the part of the story is at the end, his heart grows 3 sizes bigger because he starts to like Christmas. But
right.
So what about you?
I mean, if I were to be a character from a Christmas movie, I think I said the train constructor from Polar Express.
Just because he's mean old Tom Hanks, or
is he mean? No, but he's showing these kids the true meaning of Christmas, and he's proven that you have to believe in order for what is it? Believe. I don't remember the exact quote, but you have to believe in the true Christmas spirit to see and have things come true with Santa Claus. So it's just true meaning.
The true meaning of Christmas.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought he was just mean.
Oh, and by far one of the best scenes in cinema history.
Oh boy.
History. So when they're going against that frozen lake, and the lake starts to break, and they have to find the tracks, and they're drifting all over the place, and they succeeded.
I've never seen that.
Fast and Furious, Polar
I might
Express
go watch
Drift.
that movie tonight.
It's Fast and Furious, Polar Express Drift.
Let's see. That brings up a good question. What is the best scene, now that you said yours, what is the best scene in cinematic history from a movie you've seen? Doesn't have to be Christmas this time.
I would say, well, one of my favorite movies is White Man Can't Jump. So I would say that very last play when they win the game.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
I would definitely say that.
Have you guys seen Mad Max Fury Road?
I have not.
I think I've.
Is
I'm
that
not
with the
sure.
dog?
No, that's
Is that the one where?
It's like dystopian future, and they drive trucks and stuff around.
I've not.
But are
seen
they
it.
like in like this race?
Mm-mm.
I think I'm talking.
No,
about
that's Death
Race.
Race.
Death Race.
Death Race. Yeah.
I like that movie too.
That one's good.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. Oh, I forgot the actor that's in it, but anyway, man, we got off topic. But anyway.
Yeah. No, this is good though.
No. Anyway, going into this weekend, we wish you guys the best of luck. We know it's going to be challenging, but it's going to be a fun game to watch, fun couple of games to watch, and we'll be cheering loud for you. I definitely will be cheering from the control room, so if you hear me, it's, I'm getting into the game. So,
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Anyway, that's going to do it for us from Inside the Hive. Thank you, fellas. Games again are going to be Saturday, Sunday, women's at 2, men at 4. For everything Inside the Hive and BHSU Athletics related, be sure to go to bhsuathletics.com. And from all of us here at BHSU Athletics, have a happy holidays and go Yellow Jackets.
Go Yellow Jackets, woo!
This has been a Black Hill State University Athletics production. Fear this sting.